This episode of Finding Demo Surf Fishing is being brought to you by Ninja Tackle. Head on over to ninjatackleva.com and take a look at all the cool things that Matt's got going on up there in Virginia. Need the new rod? The old 7-foot one-piece go-to? Yeah, it's my favorite. But now he's also got the 4-piece travel rod, which is phenomenal. I used it not too long ago. If you didn't see that, it was back on my Facebook. Caught a nice bobo right from the shore. Put up a great fight. Rod gave me no issues. Throwing 1 ounce metal. It was awesome. Really good rod. Rigs, got you covered. Reels, other rods. He's got a lot of stuff in the shop. If you're into firearms and firearm accessories, he's got you covered there too. So if you need to, which you do, you need to go up there. Take a look at ninjatackleva.com. Get your order in today. You won't be sorry. It's going to be good. What is up, everybody? Welcome to another awesome week. I hope you're doing well wherever you are, whatever you're doing. Hope it's all going right according to plan the way you want it. That's to be the good stuff. This week, we are in the local home area. We're staying in the Navarre, Pensacola area, and we got some fun stuff to talk about. We're going to be talking with Real Coastal Fishing. That's going to be Julie and Brent. If you haven't seen them yet, they are on pretty much all your social media you need there under Real Coastal, REEL. That's under Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. Lots of cool stuff they're doing here. They've been really nailing it, knocking it out of the park, and just having a lot of fun doing their stuff. So definitely take a look at their thing, their whole social media. Sorry, I can't even speak. Lots of stuff coming. I know that. And we've talked a little bit about it, but we're really going to get into it now. So without further ado, welcome to the show, guys. Glad to have you here.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks, Brian. Good to be here.
Oh man, I've only been trying to plan this for a little while, so
That's all right.
I've slightly failed.
Everybody's busy this time of year.
Yeah, and like we were talking about offline, the fishing it's definitely troublesome right now, but it's winter fishing, so it's not a horrible surprise.
Yeah, challenging to say the least.
That's why a lot of people are heading down south to do a little fishing trips here and there.
Very true. Well, let's go ahead and let's just jump right in. And by all means, you guys, however you want to answer it in your format, that's completely up to you. Well, so we'll start this way. Tell us your story and what got you into fishing.
I'll go
Ladies
first.
first.
I grew up fishing. My dad has always had a place in northern Wisconsin. He's a big musky fisher. So literally probably since the day I could walk, I just started fishing and never quit. And then when we moved down here a few years ago, it amped up to a whole nother level because it's all new species, all new techniques, all new gear. So that's my story. What's yours, Brent?
Mine's a little bit of the same. I didn't fish as much. I was more into the hunting when I grew up. I did fish with my dad a little bit here and there. We took a couple of trips every year. Then we moved to Tennessee and got more heavy into the bass fishing
and trout
and really got into that. But when we came down here, I mean, we just took it to, well, I shouldn't say we, especially she took it to a whole nother level. And I mean, it's been great. I mean, you never know. So that's what I like about down here, because it's all new to us. We don't claim to know what the heck we're doing, because we don't. But we're figuring it out, and that's kind of how we got into it.
We love the joy of learning something new at our age and then sharing it. That's what we love about it.
That's good stuff. And the sharing thing is it's obviously very near and dear to me since I do a podcast, but
yeah,
we are definitely slightly older. We are seasoned in our lives. So, for us, it's easy. I don't know. I think it's our generation's got a little bit better on that one, that we share the info. I remember growing up and trying to talk to somebody older and be like, hey, what bait? Yeah, you just got to find it. Well, what bait? Yeah, you just got to find it. You didn't help me there, bud. So I
think it also is where you're at, because up north, they don't discuss bait, locations. Nothing is told of fishing. So you're literally, unless, you know, you have a dad that does it all, then you're lucky. But down here within our little community in the Panhandle, everybody is very generous with their knowledge to
Most, not
Yeah.
everybody. Some people like to keep it all close to the black out the background of their pictures, but
Yeah.
most guys are like, hey, we're over here doing this, and this is what worked.
Especially for YouTubers and people on Facebook, it's easy to tell. We all fish the same areas. You can look on Google Maps and
You can
zoom
figure
in a
out.
picture. So why not just be upfront and honest and help out your fellow angler?
It's also why I fly a 14-foot flagpole right
Yeah.
where I'm normally fishing. I'm like, I'm right here. You can't.
Right. Yep.
That's awesome. We need to do that.
Well, the flags have become a fun one. Unfortunately, right now, you guys have seen the other show that we do. Mike and I do the Panhandle Fishing Report.
Yep.
Mike has a bigger flagpole now, and that's a problem. So I eventually will have to make sure I get a little bit more. But yeah, sometimes the flag stuff's pretty cool. It's been fun seeing certain ones and knowing who's who. Like, oh hey, let me go down and say hi to him. So
yeah, that's what we're looking.
It's something we
forward
thought
to.
about. I think it'd be kind of cool that way. I mean, people have started to notice us, which is, and we'll get into
It
that
weirds
later
me
on.
out.
But I mean, I think it'd be kind of cool that people that aren't sure, like, oh yeah, well that's them because there's a giant real coastal flag behind them.
Yeah.
You know, when we first met Salty Goat, that's how we met him, because he had his flag hung on his cart, and you know, so we know exactly who it was.
nice. He's a cool dude. I hope he's doing well. I haven't talked to him in probably a couple weeks. We text a little bit back and forth. I enjoy talking with him. I really do.
He's
a good guy.
Yeah, he's a good guy. One of our local vets, so we're always looking to support that.
No. What type of fishing do you like to do?
I go first.
Ladies
I go first.
Ladies first all day.
Apparently, I'm on the spot always. I am not picky. It's literally my type of fishing is just going after the big guys. So we have so many different opportunities in this area, whether it's bay fishing, inshore, offshore, beach fishing. I mean, I love it all. I just always want the big guys. Brent's happy catching pompano and whiting, and I'm like, give me a shark, give me a drum. So I'm not going to pick a favorite per se. I just want bigger the better.
Okay.
For me, it's definitely become surf fishing. I love to be out in the boat, but surf fishing is just, sometimes it's more relaxing. Other times there's poles going off constantly and you can't figure out which end is up. But, you know, on the days where it's just a normal bite, you can kind of, you know, relax, people watch, sit in your chair. You know, there's not.
We get to meet a lot of people doing that too.
Yeah, there's a little bit, for me, there's less work involved in that than there is with the boat, because I don't have to hook it up, I don't have to clean it, I don't have to do all that kind of stuff. But it's definitely become surf fishing for me.
Yeah, I get you. The other reason I don't have a boat, but it's fun having friends with boats. Like, you want to go up? Like, if you really want. I mean, I'm not gonna say no to catching fish in a boat. There's good.
We'll have to take you out soon.
Yeah, we'll go out for sure.
Oh, soon. I'm hoping. I actually feel about 90%.
As soon as the leg's better.
Now. Yep. Well, I don't want to be that guy that goes, and we're down. You know, and then trying to tread water with a bum leg. Nothing good is going to come from that.
I mean, for people like us with a channel, I mean, that might go viral. So it could be epic.
I might just have. I guess we'll have to do that then.
Brett might bump you off the side. I'll jump in and rescue. Let
me get the phone throw on the fadeaway.
Yeah.
No.
blow up real quick for everybody.
Oh, now when we go fishing together, I really hope it does not happen. God, I hope we're not forecasting this. That sounds horrible. Now, and anybody else listening to this is like, yeah, do it, push him off. We'll do a fundraiser. There we go for the push off. There we go. All right. So, what is your favorite thing about fishing?
For me personally, it's Brent and I always fish together. We don't ever go out by ourselves. It's the two of us. We're a group. So really, it's spending time with him and outdoors. Outdoors is my church. There's no other way to describe it. If I don't get outside,
she literally will start. I don't want to say like shaking, but if she's not outside every day doing something, she's not happy.
Yeah. So to me, it's the outdoors, spending time with my husband of many, many years, and the challenge of always getting something bigger, newer. I mean, It's pretty typical.
Yep. For me, it's watching. I mean, it's the same. Just spending time with her. I mean, everything that's come with it. You know, meeting the different people down here is great. But watching her do new things, you know, whether it was giant redfish, huge black drum, you know, a 7-foot shark from the beach, which was completely unexpected. You know, just all those things all rolled into one is why I like doing it.
Yeah, it's spending time where we want to be outside and spending time together.
Like marriage, you know, it's kind of a thing where if you two can find something together. So everybody, if you can get that perfect spouse like that, that's a happy when you both can go somewhere like that. So great job, you guys.
I mean, sometimes I got to get her to pump the brakes a little bit because she would literally, I mean, she sometimes she forgets, like, I have a full-time job that I do, but I got to get her to pump the brakes
And
every
he's
once
an
in a
old
while
man.
because she wants to fish all the time.
Yeah.
I'm like, maybe we'll just take today off.
But he doesn't like my days off because if we're not fishing, then I'm always looking to go hiking or walking. So
somewhere outside.
Yeah, we just have to be out.
I get it. And hey, you know, you're only gonna have a full-time job for now until the YouTube explodes. And, you know,
that's what he says all the time.
Yep.
He's like, just keep doing what you're doing until I can retire.
Yep. Someday.
It's all a joke. It's a joke.
It's always
but
a
we can have big dreams, right?
Absolutely. If we don't, I mean, what are we gonna do?
Yeah, what are you doing it for then?
Yeah, absolutely. Yes. Well, you've been doing a lot, obviously, your whole life there. And let's go with, we'll stick with the surf on this one because that's been our biggest focus. And I know you've been playing a lot out there. Has there been a craziest or favorite catch yet?
I'll take this one. Well, I'll take my portion. Okay. For me, I referenced it once already. It was the shark. I mean, we were targeting them. We were looking to catch sharks. Did I think it was really going to happen to that scale? No. But catching a ladyfish, using that for bait, and 7-foot black tip on a 10-foot, you know, I don't even know what it was. Nothing fancy. A pen combo, surf fishing combo. And watching her land that thing and fight that thing, that was, to me, today I'll never forget. And it's a video that a lot of people, that has gotten a lot of traction just because of the acoustics of it. You know, you could close your eyes and watch that thing and wonder what's going on. But then if you really watch the video, I mean, it's cool. I mean, that
shark kicked my butt.
It gave her everything she wanted and then some.
Yeah. So we've had a lot of comments from the audio from that, but I mean, it's real. I don't ever hide anything when I'm out fishing. We show I always say the good, the bad, and the ugly. I'm not a pretty fisherwoman. I don't wear makeup. My hair's usually a rat's nest. So if I'm struggling, you're going to hear it. Not pretending out there.
Going the whole experience, like, this is life. Yeah. Welcome to it.
Yep, exactly.
Smart. Okay.
So for me, it was definitely that her catching that shark. That was cool.
My favorite fishing experience isn't on YouTube or Facebook because it was
surf though.
Oh, surf.
Surf.
Okay.
No, it's okay. It's okay. Go. You've already started peeling the Band-Aid. No. Continue.
We were on a work trip. Brent's work was kind enough to take us out to Hawaii, and I was one of the very few females to jump on a charter boat, and super nice charter boat. Needless to say, Brent started chumming the waters for me.
That's what I do.
Good man.
I caught a short-nosed
right there,
spearfish.
that guy.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. That's so cool.
What? There. So that was mine just because I'll never, first of all, they're only in the Pacific Ocean.
Yep. They're only off the coast of Kona, the big island in Hawaii. That's the only place in the world you can find them.
And even the captain and the charter guys were so excited when I pulled that in. At the moment, I didn't know how exceptional that fish was, but after things calmed down, then we started to learn. And it was really my first offshore trip, and it was done in style because it wasn't on our dime. And it was an amazing experience. The owner of his company happened to be on that boat there, so Brent got a little kudos for having the white jack caught that.
It was a cool day.
It was a fun day.
Other than the 4 hours of being seasick for me, it was a cool day.
I always say I can thank Brent for chumming my waters. with that guy.
So if I'm hearing correctly, your drip that you need for adrenaline for fishing is quite high. So now I
Yeah.
understand what you were talking about with the need to bigger, more, faster, stronger. Give me it all on those.
Yeah,
We'll just say this. It's gotten to the point now. I've caught a lot of reds down here in the few years that we have lived here. And when I catch them, I'm just like, it's like catching a bass back home. Like everybody catches them. And Brent shakes his head.
Not for
He's
me.
like, no.
That's foreign to me. I mean, I have my biggest redfish to date is 29 inches. I have never caught anything over 30. And she's caught a 36, a 39, a 40, and a 43.
So I'm aiming for the 50 club now.
So I'm like, how is this not just adrenaline filled enough for you? Like when we lived in Tennessee and in Illinois, I loved to crappie fish. You know, it's fun.
I hated it.
She would never go crappie fishing with me.
No.
Because they're not big enough.
Northerns and muskies. Those are the big fish up north. I just like I said, I like the big guys.
That's so cool.
This is why I'm married to Brent, everybody. I like the big guys.
Understand you, bro. Yes. Medium extra husky. And we keep
That's right.
Why my wife keeps me around. I keep the bed warm. I'm a natural heater in the winter.
Yep.
I'm cuddly and soft. It's not that bad. I mean, I'm okay with it. I've accepted.
That's right. I know my role.
I get that. There you go. I mean, so the funny thing, I can't obviously speak for anybody on this, but I have a feeling I'm going to see you in a shark harness soon, going after 10-foot tigers and bigger.
I would love to.
Well, that's the thing is about that. I mean, we have spent, and I'm not lying, a small fortune on fishing gear since we've moved here. I mean, we had to start all over. Yeah, all of our stuff none of it was steel bearings. I mean, I seized reels, I broke rods. I mean, everything that we brought from freshwater, it just didn't last. And I think we've gotten ourselves to the point that we have what we need. I would like to upgrade some of my surf equipment because a lot of my stuff is just combos that I bought. I don't have any, I don't have the daggers and the Slammer 5000s. I just have combos. But that's the next thing is the big, rigs with the fighting belt and figuring out a way to get a bait out there because I can promise you I am not kayaking it out there to drop. I don't know if I got to find a friend with a little RC boat or someone that's got a drone or something.
There you go. I just need, my biggest thing when I caught that 7-foot black tip, it was a fight because I was doing it just on a spinning rod, and Brent did bring me a bumper because I tend to bruise my hip bone and stomach by sticking that rod just to hold it. But when all was said and done, we went back and looked at the videos. I thought, wow, I was proud of myself. And usually I'm my harshest critic, to say the least. But I was proud that I got it in on that gear. But I realized then how undermanned we are because my go-to fish for this year that I want to get is a hammerhead. And I know that'll kick my butt. So, we've even talked about reaching out to some of the land-based shark charters and seeing what they use, just spending some time with them so that we don't go out blindly. And, we all know how expensive fishing gear can be. So we want to make sure we're getting the right stuff.
So a belt and bigger gear, I can pretty much see into the future that purchase will be made at some point.
So I'm not going to edit this. Well, I might edit this out. We'll see. But when you say hammer, do you want like the hammer or do you want a scalloped hammer or like do you?
I want the hammer. I want the big
up.
boy. Yep, absolutely.
Oh boy, yeah, that's gonna be an expensive trip to the store.
And this is why we've talked about doing a charter because. If you look back onto that YouTube video, that was my most emotional catch ever. You can hear it in my voice. I'm almost crying, and it wasn't exhaustion, though I'm sure that played a role. It was watching Brent pull that out of the water to dehook it because I was scared to death because we've seen the Pinky video, right? Like, there's my husband pulling this massive shark out, and that's all I could think. We're new to this. So anytime we're handling a new species, especially something that wants to chomp your hands off, to say the least, I was scared, but I wanted it on the beach. I didn't want him to screw it up either.
Yeah.
That video,
so that's why we're talking about
that dude.
Talking to some of the charters, because they know what they're doing. They could teach us what we need to know.
Well, we'll talk on the post show. I got a couple of recommendations if you want.
That'd be awesome.
You reminded me of that video. He got that finger in there, and he took it like a champ. He's like, "Damn it, he cut my finger off." And I'm like,
yeah.
There was a follow-up video to that too, where they explained just how bad it was. Did you see that?
I did. Yeah.
Oh, it was in front of his kids. It was terrible. I just don't want to ever witness that. But I want to catch them. I just don't want that to happen.
She caught a couple on the beach, 2-3 footers.
I say play size.
And she didn't even want to pick those up. She's like,
No. Well, there's certain things that I pride myself that I do all my own fishing, because we all know that there's some females out there.
Bait your own hooks, take your fish off.
I do all that. But if Brent's around, for sure he's getting the catfish.
I get the catfish, the sharks, and the stingrays.
Yep. If he's not around, I'd have to handle it myself. But we're always fishing together, so I'll just yell at him. I'm like, "It's your turn to take it off."
It's your turn.
I just don't want to mess with those guys. If it's trying to kill me, I'm not messing with it.
Girl, same. So we get you completely on that. Yeah, I love sharks from afar. I do. They're beautiful. I love when other people catch them. I'm happy for you. Sharks are not in my top 5, so I get it, and it's mostly for that exact reason. We could definitely compare notebooks on the fun social media things we've seen of people de-hooking sharks.
Oh God.
Like, I'm glad Justin from Justin Reed Fishing showed me, like, dude, don't grab that tail. I was like, what do you mean? He's like, look. I was like, oh, and then I saw the video of the guy getting his nipple chewed off, and I'm like, well, that's what you get.
Oh, I have not seen that one.
Well, I'll send it to you. That was a good one.
I don't think I've seen that one.
I don't know if I want you to send that to me.
Oh, that was that was something special. That's for sure. All right, so we're gonna move into the next section, but before we move into the next section, we gotta knock out a quick bait check because it's been 22 minutes, and that's what we do. It is the first bait check of the episode. Hopefully you've caught a bunch of fish by now, because that is what we all want. Catch fish and have a good day. That is the most important thing, as long as you're having fun. That's the second. But this bait check is being brought to you by DS Custom Tackle. Head on over to dscustomtackle.com and take a look at the massive amount of gear that they have available to you. Are you a rig tire and you're looking to get your hands into the industry to get all the floats, hooks, everything you need? They got you covered on Tackle Supply. Maybe you need to get your own hands on some glow-in-the-dark sand flea floats. Oh, I don't know. We've kind of talked about that. He's got them. Also, the wonderful fruit basket. Very, very beautiful, bright bouquet for all those wonderful fishing needs. So go on over there, dscustomtackle.com, get your order. So we're moving into my favorite part of the show. And the favorite part is the tips, tricks, stealing your knowledge. That's what we do. We're definitely out here to help people. And this podcast that's the focus. It's always been an educational platform, and it will continue to be, and in long form content. So we're going to move into that. Let's talk about your days when you're planning your trips. So think about this in that respect. How do you plan? I'm going out today, and this is how we're going to do it.
The first thing we always do is check the weather and see what the wind is doing.
Yeah, for me, it's wind. It I don't want to say it directs us every time, but almost every time. Whatever the wind's doing, that's what we're going to do. Whether it's north wind or south wind, or where can we go? Is if it's going to blow anything over consistent 15 to 18. I'm not taking the boat out because I got a giant T-top and it's just going to sling me wherever it wants to sling me. If it's a stiff south wind, I know the waves are going to be so high in the Gulf that I'm not going to be able to get a bait to hold anyway. So the wind is the biggest factor for at least for me. Since we don't know what we don't know yet, I try to make it as comfortable for us as possible. I don't want to be out in rough seas. I don't want to sit and waste my time on the beach. So we try to figure out where the wind's blowing, and that directs us to where we should go.
literally every night before we're going to go fishing. Brent's sitting there tying on rigs. I mean, that's really his big job.
Yeah.
I help, but he does the majority of the work.
Yep.
And then it never fails. The morning of, we check the weather once again, and
And
we're
it
like,
changed,
never
and I got to
mind.
redo it all.
Oh, every time.
We're not going
Yep.
surf fishing today. We got to re-rig everything.
Yep. So that's why we, bring way more than we need to.
Yes.
I'll bring 3 set up for redfish, 2 for sheep's head, couple for Spanish. The only thing we really have to determine is if it's the surf or the boat. Because if we're in the boat, we can kind of adjust on the fly. If we're going surf fishing, we're going surf fishing. There's really no changing that.
A lot of times when we say we're going in the boat, we might just take the boat to go shore up on a little private area of the beach,
Get away from the people.
Yeah. And set up some Carolina rigs. So that the wind comes into play too. Is it going to be the north shore of the sound, or is it going to be on the south shore too? So checking the weather is by far the first and foremost for us. And then after that, we just need to figure out, shore fishing, beach fishing. We just always go down and comb the area and see, look for the troughs, look for the ribs, look for the deep spots.
Yep.
It's pretty. I think most of your viewers know all those little tips and tricks. But
This might be the first episode they listen to, and you might have just changed the whole world for them. So.
Well, you never know.
No, I've said this before in numerous podcasts, and I happily say it again. The majority of the foundation of fishing, bait, hook, and location, they're always the biggest 3 in reality. I mean, I can go from here and I can go to North Carolina and I can hook up, throw, and go and hope.
Yep.
But, with a couple of episodes that I've talked to with these guys up there, like, well, you need to look for a couple more pieces because our water's different. It's the same when I go to Jacksonville. I know that I can't look at the water like we do here because, well, you can't see the bottom of Jacksonville.
Right.
Dirty water. Love you guys.
We are spoiled with
Very
that.
spoiled.
We are. So, that's one of the things that I really harp on when I'm talking about this stuff is it doesn't matter if you think it's the most basic. That's the one piece that may have changed your basic is somebody's level 20. So don't worry.
My other thing that I like to pay attention to is just time of day. And this is what I was taught, so I still think it plays a role from switching over from freshwater to saltwater. Mornings are always great, and right before dark is always fantastic. So during the day, when the sun is high and it's hot, then we take it easier. That's when we'll, just relax, beach fish. I suntan. Brenna cracks open a couple beers and we just have a good time while the poles are still in the water. But if we're, out in the bays or the sound, that's when we just beach up the boat and enjoy the day and really fish hard morning and evening.
Yeah, you get after it in the good times, it's first thing in the morning or in the evening. But
that and the tides, right? So weather.
The tide I struggle with still because
he hates.
I don't. I still don't understand it all. I mean, I understand the incoming and outgoing, but I don't.
This winter threw us for a loop. I don't know if we just weren't paying attention the last few winters or we fished that much more.
With that super low, I don't know what they called it, where it got super low for about 3 weeks. There was like no water in the bay, no water in the sound. I mean, it had dropped like, I don't even know how big it dropped, but I try to keep up with the tides, but I don't really.
We're still learning. So if anyone wants to shoot us a basic knowledge of tide info.
I mean, I hate to say it. Tide, this is Brian in the Gulf of Mexico talking.
Brian, no.
No, Brian non-caring. For me, I've noticed with surf, tide really doesn't matter too much. I've had numerous people say, "Oh, you're crazy." And it's like we have one tide a day. It's just, I can fish on an outgoing where the scent goes out, sure, but I'm going to be out there for 7.5 hours waiting for that. Am I going to be on the tide swing, or if it's coming back in? Oh, well, the tide's coming. It's slow. So on the beach, I never really worry about tide in the surf that much. Another example being like neap tide when we have no water movement.
That's what it was called, neap tide.
Hold my beer. Yeah, I'll go out and throw in a neap. I don't mind, but in the other sides like Atlantic, yes, I fully think the tide has a huge swing in them. But for out here, I haven't really had a
noticed
tide.
in the sound and in the bays, the sheep's head, for me personally, were hitting better when it was a moving tide, for sure.
Oh, I can totally see
Things like
that.
Yeah.
So I think it all depends. You're going to pick what you need to pay attention to, geared towards what you're aiming at. I also think this is a weird thing that I was taught when I was a little kid that I said to a couple people down here, and they just looked at me like I was crazy. But if it's getting towards the end of the day or midday and you see that moon pop up in the sky, so you have the sun and the moon, I always say that's the fishing time. It's like, what are you talking about? But for some reason, I was taught that if you can see the moon before dark, that's the time the fish are going to hit. And maybe it's in my head, but it's been working really good when we've been surf fishing.
No, it's not in your head. That the solunar. So the solunar, I may or may not have. I pay attention to the solunar.
Yeah.
All right. So there is some scientific fact behind what was in my head. All right,
oh, absolutely. There definitely is. You can get in crazy into the moon phase. There's a lot of fun. That's a hole to go down on the moon phase.
I'll tell you what, my dad up north, who is where I learned everything from, he every day, whether he's fishing or not, right now he's not fishing, he's covered in snow, but he writes down the weather, what the moon's doing, everything. And he's on a lake. But he's that neurotic, and he is a successful, very successful. I mean, he runs his own tournaments and everything up north. So I didn't listen closely enough growing up. But so the things that I always say are in my head, like about the moon and stuff, I know it came from somewhere, and it's him. But I think if you can pay attention that closely, and now, like you said, you have apps for it. If you devote your time to those basic things, weather, tides, moon, you're going to be successful down here for sure.
Yep, definitely. So we talked about planning the trip. How do you select your spot when you get to the beach?
Well, it depends on how much gumption I have, to be honest. Depending on how far I can pull the cart. No, but on it, we look for the same thing everybody else looks for. The whether there's a break in the sandbar, whether there's a rip going in, or a rip, going out.
A deep trough. That's my favorite.
Some type of a deep trough. If I can get to a sandbar, I can bomb it over, especially in the winter, without actually getting in the water. That's a plus. But as long as there's a break and some deep water is really what we look for. We've surf fished with that many people since we lived here, so everything that we know everything that we figured out has come from watching Facebook, watching YouTube,
listen to podcasts,
doing all those things that we didn't have anyone to take us out, and we just kind of figured it out as we went. I mean, I thought surf fishing was going to be the easiest thing ever.
No,
we went out the very first time, and she stuck a pompano that was like 16 and a half to the fork. I'm like, oh, this is easy.
It was the time of year,
and it took like 10 minutes.
It was that time of year. So we learned basically this winter how tough surf fishing can be. Because we started our YouTube, I think early September this past year.
Late August.
Late August, early September. So back then, when we got into it, surf fishing was easy. There was pompano running the beaches, whitings, everything.
Yeah, you're catching something every time out.
A few somethings at least. And then once winter hit, then I was like, okay, surf fishing is not as easy as I thought it was. A lot of downtime.
There's a reality check.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the spring and fall run are the best way to hate fishing, because you're like, this is awesome.
Dinner every night.
And then you get the summer with the very rude and never-ending June to October grass that just sticks around. It's so weird. And then winter, it's a barren desert because everything's cold. It's like, no, I'm not hungry. So yeah, you guys got set up pretty good there. Oh man, I'm sorry.
We were spoiled too fast.
Oh, that's perfect. And we're gonna change that zero. We're gonna change that soon. Very, very soon. So let's talk about your gear setup. And I love that you opened up before this question about that you had to figure the game out on your own. You had no choice, you guys, but you put your head down and you did it, and you've been successful. I've seen it. I know it's not trick photography. I know you've been out this winter. I know you've been out there doing this stuff. I know y'all are killing it. And I love that you're doing this through self-taught and other means and picking it together. So let's talk about your gear and setting it up at your spot. Where are you throwing your lines? Where are you casting?
Well, I mean, if we're in the surf, we try to cover all the zones.
Mhm.
So we'll, if it's decent water and it's, comfortable enough to walk out in, I'll wade out to my waist and I'll take one rod and I'll throw it as far as I can throw it.
Get it over that sandbar.
And then, we'll try to put one in short in the trough. We might even throw one on top of the sandbar. Try to cover all different.
The edge of the sandbar, if you can, even if it's the edge, I found,
Yep.
shallow or the edge deep, that's like the honey hole for us. That's where
Yeah.
we're finding the big guys at.
If you can get it close to that sandbar, I mean, it's when you got to bomb it over the sandbar, it's not quite as easy to control where it's going to go. But if you can get it as close to that drop as you can, and then we try to go long and short.
You just always have to remember that's where the bait is sitting, is in that drop, and that's where, the desirable fish are in there feeding, is what we have found.
Okay. So you're covering all the zones. Like you said, your favorite's the back of the bar. Totally get that. And then you're going in the shallows. So smart. You're hitting all 4 zones. You're doing that piece. That's going to huge money maker there. Good move. What type of rigs do you like to use in the surf?
Well, right now we have
Salty pompano.
So we used for Pompano, we use salty rigs. He was generous enough to send us some to use, and we actually were using them before he even sent them to us. So we have not personally met him yet, but he seems like a solid guy.
Mm-hmm.
So we use the salty Pompano rigs. As far as you talking about the rods and reels?
No, we were gonna get to that in a bit, but we can go ahead and talk about that.
We do the salty
there.
pompano rigs, and we've been using a lot of fish gum. We'll still go over to fish bites. Whatever is going to work is going to work. But fish gum's another really nice guy that reached out and sent us some product, and it works. So
Tony's a good dude.
Mm-hmm.
Tony's a really good dude. Yes.
So those are what we're using for
the pompanos, and then we'll run. We run typically in the summer.
Shark setup.
Starting now, we start looking for the sharks. The last 2 times out, we had a heavier setup on. It's just a challenge because you're throwing a big piece out with a spinning rod, and Stillwater's still too cold for me. But we'll run that on just a shark leader and shock leader
and like at least a 3 hook.
Yeah, no, usually a 6 or 7.
Oh, a 6 or 7. And like this last time we were out, we didn't catch a shark. The big black drum that pictures are floating around, it came on a pompano rig. But we did.
It does.
It always does.
So much. I've caught more black drum on a double drop on a piece of fish bites than on anything.
It was green fish bites.
Yeah, green fish bites is what it did.
It was crazy. It was a fun fight because it was on our lightest tackle out there.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, good times. Good times.
But the usually with the shark setups, what'd you say, a 6 or 7 hook?
Yeah, 6, 7, 8, 9.
And then it's whatever. I throw a net, so I had some
whatever she caught the week before, and we had put in the freezer. She had a bunch of mullet, so we just use mullet or ladyfish.
Any kind of heads work, right?
Yeah, blue runners. If we catch something, especially in the summertime, if we catch blue runner, we'll put a blue runner on there. Yeah. We've caught sharks and big redfish on a live blue runner.
I got some I got some bonita for you.
I got one. I got one in the freezer. I really.
Yeah, but that one's been in there for a while, so I don't think it's gonna.
It'll be okay. It'll be okay.
I just want the ones that we caught, and we still haven't caught one of them stinking things.
He says we caught, but I'm the one that throws the net. So he sets up.
I said she.
He sets up all the fishing poles, and then in return, I go out and catch all the bait.
Have you ever seen a guy with 10 thumbs try to throw a cast net?
Yeah, I look at him every time I try to throw a cast net.
That's what I look like when I try to throw it.
As a side note, that's I guess out of everything I've learned down here, saltwater fishing, that is my absolute favorite all-encompassing thing, is to be able to catch your own bait, turn around, and get a stud fish with it. That's the most rewarding to me.
To me, it's not have to go to the tackle store and pay for it.
Yeah,
she
Brent
just goes and catches
not paying for it.
Well, we're coming up into lady fish seasons here. It's pretty,
Yeah,
not too
so
long, and you're
Yep.
gonna get plenty. You get plenty of bait. Yeah, well, we're really gonna have to go fish together. I don't know why. We gotta get out and go get show bobos and a bunch of other fun stuff.
we'll
You
do.
were talking about rigs there. You wanted to talk. You mentioned your gear. Did you want to talk about your gear? You're welcome to.
No, I thought you were talking about the tackle stuff. But we just run 9 and 10 foot pen rods, and they're, I think we have the
3,000.
the often hated Wrath. We have everything's pen, but it's the combos. So we haven't. That's our next to upgrade after she gets her shark pole and fighting belts.
Well, that's the thing, and we mentioned it earlier. We came down here and had to start all new, all fresh, and we wanted to do it all at once, basically, because we were excited to go try everything. So we haven't had any problems with the pen. I really have liked them. They performed well. Brent does a great job every night of cleaning them. A little soapy water, spray them down with hose. So we have loved them. Now, he did at Christmas time buy some nice non-combo rods, and as soon as he put that in my hand,
that was a mistake.
I'm like, well, maybe we do need to upgrade.
It sounds dangerous right there.
So, I mean, Golf Breeze bait and tackle and half hitch. I mean, they see me walk in the door and go, "Hoo, he's here again." Because I go in for 4 or 5 dozen shrimp, and I leave, and they're like, "Oh, it's $592." And then I come home, he's like, "What'd you buy?" I'm like, "Shrimp and 2 rods."
Yeah, so he's slow in his roll with that. He got in a little bit of trouble because it was a lot of spending.
I had to pump the brakes a little bit.
Yeah,
That's
but
fair.
the pen combos, and that's what we try to get across on our channel. I assume we have a lot of people coming down on vacation or new to the area watching it and know that we're newer to saltwater fishing. So they're watching to see what we're doing. And we do like to be able to tell people, you don't have to go out and buy the $500 rod and the $400 reel.
Yep.
You can get something simple. I'm not saying like run to Walmart and get their cheapest one because it's not going to work. But, you don't need to drop a house payment just to go out and have a good time on the beaches.
Not even a little. Not even a little. Last question in this one, but before I do say that, I wanted to say this. Before your shark one, I am all in with you on the kayak thing. I've watched I've been out there with Coastal Worldwide and watched them kayak a mile, and I'm just like, nope.
See, I'm trying to talk Brent into, not right now, but maybe in a year or two, do a little kayak fishing.
Well,
it's a whole different adrenaline rush, right? Because you have a lot going on in that little craft.
And I look at it this way. I mean, we fish with, I'm sure you know who Dougie B Fishing is, formerly Rougarou. Yeah. So we fish with him quite often. He has a kayak.
And Merc.
And saltwater Mercs.
Yeah.
But they both have kayaks, and they've said you guys should get kayaks. He said, the problem with that is I don't need one. I need 2. I said, and for me, I don't really want to paddle. When I have 200 horses, I can just go like this.
Yep.
And my boat goes that way. I mean, that's
all right,
just me.
I think what we need to do is just trade boat rides for kayak fishing.
There you go.
So I got a kayak in the back. I can donate to the team and the cause. I got a 132. Don't worry, you're good. 13 foots of happy. But I was gonna say, for not having to do that, the RC fishing surfer, Mike's got it here local for Smitty surf fishing, but that has been a really good delivery device.
I've watched some of them, and that looks like the way to go. Absolutely.
It's fun.
Brent's type of.
I'd be afraid that I'd stop fishing and I just like head down the boat and just start driving the boat around and just, I don't need to fish. I'm going to go play with my RC boat.
Yeah, it'll make you want it. It will. So, all right. So the last question in this section before we move into the next one is going to be: what do you do to adjust your tactics when the bite is not on fire?
Fish more. Fish hard and fish often and just keep going at it.
Yeah, I mean,
Brent's more technical than me. I just go out and fish more.
I mean, for her, that's very true. I mean, she just when the bite's not good, we just go more often, even if we're getting our tails handed to us.
That's when Brent hates me.
But at the same point, this winter we did learn slowing down.
Yeah,
like we slowed down on the redfish and the trout to the point where it was painful for her. I mean, she was a rip and lip bass fisherman from up north, so everything's fast and hard, and crank it as quick as you can, and you get a bite and set them on their ears, and now she's jerk, let it sit, jerk, let it sit.
I'm gonna give a shout out to two people. One I know personally, Dougie B Fishing. We went out. I call him the Trout King of Pensacola.
I call him the Trout King of Pensacola.
Yeah, because he can get on those trout, and he takes pride in his catches. But we went out on the boat with him. He showed us where to go to get them, and he literally stood with me at the front of the boat, and he'd look at me and go, "Slow down, do this, count to 10." He really walked me through because I'm, a lip ripper. That's how I was taught to fish. And then the other person is Southern Salt, Nathan. I love watching his videos, and he has his own Southern Salt bait. He ended up sending us some, and it was very successful.
Yeah, he sent us some of the hoodwinks, but she had to learn
how to use them.
I mean, she could fish for them like she was fishing for bass with a plastic, but trout,
not in the winter
when it's 50-degree water.
They're lazy.
They're not coming after that. They gotta let it sit in front of them, and they gotta think about it. Well, maybe I'll eat that, maybe I won't. Just slow to the point where it was uncomfortable.
It was it was very painful. I mean, up north, you just throw a chatterbait and rip it in, and something's going to go after it.
Mm-hmm.
This winter, I had to learn to slow down. That fish were biting on the drop. It was rough, but those two people I really learned a lot from, of how to finesse fish.
Yeah, how to finesse fish. And I think the other thing that when it gets tough, at least this winter, what we found, especially with the sheep's head, which
I love, Brent hated.
I can't stand fishing for those things, but it's just downsizing everything.
Yes.
I mean, we're using teeny tiny hooks. We're using leader material that I'm like, we're never gonna land. We're not gonna land a bluegill with this leader. But slowing down and downsizing everything.
Learn to work with the fish coming in rather than just ripping them in.
Yeah.
Basically is our big takeaway from this winter. And it was hard. I'm not gonna lie, it was a hard winter. But we put in the work to get a few fish.
Well, even what you've done in the boat still counts in the surf too when it comes to doing that exact same stuff, is downsizing and being finesse, because it is finesse fishing in the winter. That's where you truly test your mettle. Not only mental state of mettle, but your emotional, because you can't force them to bite. And when that water is at the wrong temperature, man, it is just a brawl of, come on, do it. I know you want it. So I get that. And that you guys nailed it perfectly there. So great job closing up that section. And we're going to move into the next one here. But before we do that, we got to do another bait check, because it's been a few minutes. It is a second bait check. I can count of the episode, and hopefully you're limited out. You're done. You're just listening to this in the car on the ride home. Everything is good. Life is great. You can't complain. Everything is just perfect. And if you're still out there and you're just enjoying your day, keep going. Just keep doing it. Make sure you got good bait out there. Maybe you need to change your location, whatever it may be. If something needs to be changed, get that done. This bait check is being brought to you by the Kids Can Fish Foundation. Awesome group. I can't say enough good things about it. They're taking kids and helping them learn how to fish. They're starting them out early. They say it all the time: more tackle boxes, less X boxes. Your donations help them continue that. Hopefully they'll be national one day. That would be awesome. I'd love a chapter here in the Panhandle. We got a lot of great places that they can do great things, and they're really building it. They've also got their redfish tournament opened up to go to at St. Simon's Island. So if you want to do that, head on over to kidscanfish.net and come out and fish. Abby and I will be there. We're already signed up, so we will see you all there, those that are going. So kidscanfish.net. Help them out. Help a kid. Get them out there to go fishing more. That's not so bad. So let's move into the old YouTube. It's always a fun one. What made you guys start a YouTube channel?
Me, in short order, that's what I watch. I don't watch TV. I mean, I'll get sucked into like some a Netflix show and I'll watch that, but I watch YouTube. I did it when we lived in Chicago. I watched a lot of stuff when we lived in Tennessee, and then when I came down here, that's how we learned. I mean, I watched all the big names that everybody watches down here. When I first, Brant and Beach Bum and all those guys. That's how I learned some tactics, and I looked at it and said, we, and I'm lumping me in with we, all the same. They're a bunch of middle-aged white guys. And I said, there's no.
That sounded mean. They're not all the same. They all have good quality.
They're all guys. I said, there's no, and I knew she fished just as hard as any guy I've ever met. So I said, there's no women in our area that I've found that have a channel. So I finally convinced her to go for it, and it's been fun. It's been a lot of fun. It's been more fun than I thought, and the people that we've gotten to meet through that have been phenomenal.
And on my end, that's how Brent sold it to me. Years and years, he's watched YouTube, fishing, hunting, a little bit of hiking. I never got overly into the YouTube watching. I just don't watch a lot of TV. I'm always busy doing other things. But I'd watch it here and there. And then when we moved down here, I started paying attention more to what he was watching, Bearded Brad, all the big guys, Cameraman Ron, because I needed to do a lot of learning. And we didn't know anybody. We knew a very small group of people, and a few fish, but they don't fish as much as we do. Most of them, just like to boat, which is great. But we just really needed to learn. And so like I said, I was watching more YouTube with Brent, and he kept saying, I think we should try this for fun. And at first I held back because I'm a very private person, believe it or not. I could be very shy, but he kept presenting it as this will be a great way to get into the fishing community, to meet people. Maybe we'll get more tips and tricks. And that was really what caught my attention, was meeting other anglers. And if I can meet other female anglers, all the better, because when Brent's out of town, I'll have someone to fish with.
I see what's going on here. The real plan comes out.
So that's how I became convinced. And then after it started, if you look back to our first few videos, we're doing it from our phone, because he's like,
I look at those first, they were terrible.
He wanted to go out by GoPros immediately. And I'm like, let's see if I can even handle this. So, the first couple, we caught damn good fish, but the editing quality was terrible. But I did enjoy, and this is why I continue with YouTube, I do very much enjoy looking back at what we've caught. Because when you're in the moment, when you're catching a monster fish, or you have 4 rods bent on the beach with pompano hitting them, you're actually not going to remember the details of it. For me, it all becomes a blur. So I very much enjoy looking back on our videos. And even it helped us this winter, because we went back to see what was the weather when we caught this fish, what were we using, what color, all those things.
Yep.
So it's kind of like our little diary at this point, our little fishing journal. We throw in some music, we throw in, little pop-up stickers here and there, just for the enjoyment of the viewers. But for us, it's become a little personal diary, and it has turned out to be a great way to meet fishermen,
like-minded people
in our area.
You just gave the unwritten guide key to one of the coolest things in fishing, and I've never said it on the podcast. Never. You're gonna make me say it, which is fine, because
I want to know.
if you go and you're having a hard time fishing and you go look at your favorite YouTuber, their channel,
Mhm.
and you scroll down to the 1 year ago, and then you find the one that's like, 9 months, 10 months, 11, you're within the zone. See what they were doing at that time, because
Yep.
that's their catalog. Now,
Yep.
me personally, I am a little eccentric. I have a written notebook and I have notes on my phone dated with what I used, what bait, what rig, what range, weather. Like I was taking, and I still do, I'll be honest. I take notes for that because that reason right there. There's
It's going to
nothing
make you a better angler.
hopefully. But for me, it's because I'm so pissed off when I go out and I go, I know what I'm doing. I know what I've looked at. I know I'm in the right spot. I've done all the things that I know. What am I missing? And I look and I'm like, okay, that's what it was. Or maybe it was, water temperature. Huge importance for me to cast out my thermometer, which I do, to check the depth, what the temperature is in that zone. It's those little things will make a huge difference. So
I agree.
glad I said it.
100%.
I'm also like, damn it, now I gotta give up one of my
I've done
secrets.
that. I've looked at her many times, and it actually not this past weekend, but the weekend before, we went surf fishing, and
Caught
we
nothing.
fished all day. I mean, we got out there probably 8 o'clock, and we left when it was pitch black, and we caught nothing. And it's just one of those, like, what are we doing? Like, what am I doing wrong? I presented it every different way I could possibly think of, but it just didn't work. But that's nice to be able to go back and look at art, or I didn't never really thought about. I mean, I've looked back at other people's old videos, but I've not.
Oh, I have
done it for the time
That's
of year.
funny because I'm the big watcher of YouTube.
Yeah.
But when we're getting ready to plan where we're going to be, I definitely will go and peekaboo in someone's channel.
Oh yeah.
Exactly a year ago, where were they fishing and what were they using? Because it worked then. Why would it not work at the same time of the year?
Yep.
So
I'm a weirdo when it comes to research. I used to complain about it. Now I'm like, oh, hold on, I'll find it.
I think it comes with age, right? And if we can get answers, we'll do the homework for it.
Yeah, it's that youthful abuse we took in like middle and grade school. The Encyclopedia Britannica and the Dewey. Oh God.
Well, now it's so much easier to do your research because there's apps, there's YouTube, there's Facebook. It's not just cracking open a book anymore.
Yeah, for you younger generation, Encyclopedia Britannica was essentially the equivalent to your Wikipedia, but factual.
Right.
There you go. You're welcome. You lucky kids.
I'm glad
you
you
didn't have to
pointed
do
that out because I don't think kids would know what that is.
It's just so sad. It's damn it. So you've been. What is? You kind of talked about it, but let's nail it anyway. What is your channel about?
Having fun, and learning with us because we're learning as we're going. Not that we're dummies and know nothing about fishing, but we had to learn a whole new style of fishing, new gear, everything we've talked about already. And we're very blunt and honest and, like a very real YouTube channel. We'll show, me dropping fish. One video I got bit by a mangrove snapper. I mean, if you pay attention, you can hear the crunch. A lot of channels will edit that all out. To me, if I'm going to watch something, I want it, I don't want Sesame Street version. I want to see how much work they're putting into it and all the ugly that goes with that too.
Good. Yeah, but we try to show all of it. I mean, there's been a lot of good, there's been a lot of really bad, but that's how people learn. If they see that it's not always, great. Like she loves sheep's head fish, loves it.
Oh, Brent,
I can't stand it. Like I can't stand fishing for sheep's head. They're the most frustrating fish.
I agree.
They're
rough.
They're very rewarding. And we try to show that, we portray that she loves it. I can't stand it, but we do it.
And I think that's, Brent, you kind of just hit it nail on her head. What our channel is about, it's not just female fishing. You're watching a couple, so you're getting a different view than a lot of the other local YouTubers because the whole time that we're fishing, we're just being a couple that have been married far too long.
Come on, far
so
too
you-
Far
long.
too long.
Ow, that hurt me.
Yeah,
I'm
tell
not
me
even
about it.
involved. Jeez.
Brian, it sounds like just you and I are going fishing.
All right, fine. I mean, I'm down. Let's go, man. Ow.
pretty true though.
Wait, Julie, was that your way of not saying the years? Is just saying it that way? Was that what the plan was?
Maybe. I don't even know. How long have we been married? Coming up on 24 years.
Congrats, guys.
Yeah, so it's a long time to be with the same
Congrats.
person. But that's the point, is you get to see two people fishing together. And then the cool thing about that is you'll see my point of view, Brent's point of view, and then sometimes if we're good enough and remember to turn on the other camera, you'll have that third, what do you call it? The third person view.
Yeah.
So you get to see, it's just nice, you know. I love watching, we'll just say Brent. He's a big name. When he's out fishing, when he's by himself, you get his point of view. And then he's real good about setting up a camera, especially if he's beach fishing. So you get that angle, but he's talking to the viewer, and that's it, which is great. I mean, for sure it has worked for him. Our channel's a little different because you'll hear me yelling at Brent, like, cut that line, move this, you know. So it's, you kind of enter a little 10-minute piece of our life and see what we're doing.
And you'll see, we don't edit out the, you know, if we get a little bicker session on the beach, you know, we just leave it in. You know, it is what it is.
It doesn't happen often. Don't make it sound like.
No, it doesn't.
You don't stay married to the same person that long and bicker all the time.
No, it doesn't. It normally does not end well
No.
for anyone. So, all right, that's good stuff. Would you say that running a channel has made you a better angler?
I would say yes. Only because we do more research, because we feel, and we don't have to, I know that, but I'm a competitive person. So I want to always make sure I have a good video to drop every Thursday around 6 o'clock, basically. So I'm going to do my research to find where the fish are, get on those fish, whether it takes me 1 trip out or 5 trips out before that Thursday comes up. So it's forcing us not to fish more, because we'd be out there anyways, but to put more work into it, you know, after this last winter. That, and we're very cautious. I mean, both my parents are police officers, retired, but so we're big rule followers. But knowing that we have all these people watching us, we try to show even more so, hey, this pompano is only 10 to the fork, so we're going to throw them in. And we'll check it, double check it, and then check it again just to make sure, because we don't want to give out misinformation. That's our big thing.
Yeah, I would say, I agree with all of that, but I would say this kind of the same thing. It definitely has made me a better angler, because it makes me put in the effort, it makes me put in the time, because I watch usually every other day. I'll sit down and I catch up on everybody that's local. Yeah. I mean, I am subscribed to every local angler in our area, and I watch their videos, because if everybody's out there killing the pompano, why do I want to come inshore and chase speckled trout? Yeah. You know, I need to go out, you know, same with Facebook. I need to be out there. I call them the money fish, whatever the money fish of that time. So for a while it's sheep's head. Now everybody's wanting the pompano, because that's what's going to be running. And that's what all the tourists want to catch when they come down. So he's looking to see what videos are getting played. And we have some trout videos on backup right now, because that season has passed. Not that it's passed, but that's not what people are looking for right now. So he does watch a lot of YouTube, a lot.
Hey, it's a lot better than most TV nowadays, if we're being
honest.
Very
true. Yep. I'm a History Channel type of girl.
Speaking my language. Yeah.
Curse of Oak Island.
Unfortunately, when I hurt myself, I ended up getting back into TV, and I don't know how I feel about that yet.
Yeah.
What has been the biggest lesson learned for you after running this channel?
Do not ever leave your camera at home.
Oh,
we made that mistake.
Ow.
We made that mistake on her. We just decided we were going to go out for just a day of fun, and she caught her. Well, at the time, it was her PB redfish. She caught like a 40-inch redfish, and we had no semblance of anything to film with. And we made a short of it on a phone, but that's the biggest thing. Is once you start fishing with a camera, you can't leave it at home anymore. It's because you never know. That's the that's the best thing about fishing down here. You never know what's going to hit the end of your rod.
My answer is different, and it comes from the female perspective. Through YouTube, I have learned everybody's self-conscious at different points. If you're not, hey, good for you. But as a female, you'll see me out there in a bikini. I'm not going to put on long sleeves and pants when it's 95 degrees out and I'm sitting on the beach fishing. So, but at my age, I have had to learn to ignore whatever the feedback is going to be. I've had kids, I'm an older woman, there's going to be imperfections for sure. So I had to learn self-love basically and ignore, because I'm the one editing these videos. So if I see a dimple here or a stretch mark there, I'm like, oh, I can't show that. But then I have to remind myself, you know what? Everybody's out fishing. They're not watching these videos to see a perfect body, because they need to go to a different channel for that one. But so that was my hardest lesson when it came to YouTube, was just accept what I have and learn to live it. And
we don't and that to go along with that, just not pay attention to the noise, because there's always going to be somebody that's out there that's not going to, there's always going to be haters out there. So
and we and that made it sound like we get a lot of hate.
No,
we don't. Actually, I found a lot of support as a female angler. Once in a while, usually on Instagram, I'll get "girls can't fish" type comments, and I'm smart. I'll use it as a business.
Worst. She's the last person you want to say that to.
So
because it just becomes motivation and viral material.
I don't reply to them, but I will definitely throw their comment up on my social media along with whatever fish I caught that week, and then I let the viewers ring the person. I think there was one guy that said, bro, he must have thought that a guy was posting it. So basically, he thought Brent handed me a fish and put me up there.
Yeah.
And I don't even think I was in a bikini that day, but that guy was not happy to see me holding that big old fish. So he said, bro, girls can't fish. Why are you faking it? And so I literally blew the comment up and said, make this guy famous. And
she made her own little video out of it.
Yeah.
That comment and then a bunch of pictures. It was
locally in our area, it's been nothing but positive feedback as a female angler. And again, I'll say it again, I'm always looking for fellow female anglers to go out with. So you can hit us up.
Maybe she's getting tired of fishing with me.
But he does have a job. He has to town here and there.
I mean, good on you. It's the keyboard commandos are always out in full force. It never fails. It doesn't matter what it is. And I can only imagine from your side, obviously I can't put my feet in that kind of shoes to understand.
Well, you can go out fish in a bikini and see how it is.
Oh, it will go viral. And see, I am the dumbass that would. That's the worst part.
Even the new male swimsuits that start at the shoulder and stack going down. You could rock that.
They're awful.
The clickbait title alone is "Do you want to barf?" That's pretty much what my video would be. You want to see that? No one wants to see it. But yeah, the funny part is I'm going to post this in the I'm going to post this, and someone's going to make a comment that listens and goes, "Yes, you will do this. You have to now. I have to see it." It's like, you don't know. You don't need to see that. I don't even want to see it.
No.
Talking about bikinis, though, I did want to mention this. So when we first started, there was rumblings of, it's a girl in a bikini fishing. That was the first set of backlash that we got. And I will say, for our channel, you will never see me holding something, the fish picture, the what is it, clickbait? There was
the thumbnail.
But people are saying we were using clickbait, and I said, well, my response always was, you haven't watched the video then, if that's what you're saying, because you'll see me. It's Florida, especially right now, springtime. I'll start off in just long sleeve t-shirt and shorts. Middle of the day, might be down in the swimsuit, and then by a couple hours later, I am full blown winter gear. I mean, so that's the one thing that we heard, is that we're clickbaiters, and that I refuse to do on YouTube for sure.
Yeah. Well, good on you for that. And yeah, keep doing the good stuff you guys are, because you're doing really good stuff on YouTube. It's been fun and entertaining to watch. It really has. I love the
fun to do.
you're giving. Good. All right. Well, I'm going to get you down to the last. I'm going to get you to the closing questions here. That's
all right.
We're almost there. But in order to do that, we got to do the last bait check, because that's important. That was such a fun day. Like, I love the background on that. I don't know what it is. It's just like, damn, I remember that fish. That was an angry fish. That was a good day. For those of you who are listening, we're recording on StreamYard right now, and we're actually face to face, which is something new coming. Don't worry, more to come. But this bait check is brought to you by The Sinker Guy. Head on over to thesinkerguy.com and look at everything that's going on in the Sinker Guy garage. Terminal tackle, got you covered. Sinkers, it's in his name. I love the Sputniks. I use them all the time. Man, I've got a whole lot of write-ups and stuff on that to talk about. So they work for me, and I love them. And maybe you need to get your hands on a couple rigs. The Bruno rig has been doing great things. We've seen a lot of ones on there. And then the rig that I always use, you'll find it on at least 2 to 3 of my rods at a time, is the Mortician rig. He's got them already ready to go with a bunch of snoods and some other fun stuff. So head on over to thesinkerguy.com. Get your order in today, because it is quick shipping. I promise. Real fast. Well, at the end of the fun, oh, man. These are always kind of sad to do. I don't know why. I get so invested in the conversation, it just constantly comes back to me there, and I'm like, all right, I guess we're almost done. So, what knowledge would you give to a brand new angler?
You don't have to spend a ton of money to be successful, and do your research of your area, of what fish are wanting, basically.
Yeah, I mean, it's that I don't have much really to add to that. You don't have to spend a fortune, and you probably should go watch every video on Real Coastal's YouTube channel, and then no, I'm just kidding. But yeah,
you should.
Look at watch the local videos, talk to your local tackle shops, talk to local people.
Have fun.
You'll find them.
Have fun.
You'll find them.
That's my big thing. Have fun. Like, don't make it a chore. Always have fun when you're doing what you love.
Nice. Very well done. All right. The very, very last question. And I know you saw there was a bunch in there, but they were actually repetitive because I messed up when I did my writings. I do that from time to time. Is what's next for you?
Oh,
a lot.
Yeah. We just got back from Key West not too long ago. And since then, we're just getting back out in Pensacola and of our waters, going after what's biting. But really, we were just talking about this earlier today. This summer, on green days, right, when the wind's real low, I want to get Brent out and do more offshore fishing, because I love that. Because he's the captain of the boat, and we're newer to offshore. He's more hesitant to go out. But it's time to learn. It's time to learn.
Yeah, now we have some friends that we know that have a boat, so I can buddy boat with somebody, because I'm a single outboard. That's my fear.
Yeah.
I'm a single outboard. What happens if something happens out there? I'm not running 20 miles back on a trolling motor. But I would say there's a lot of good stuff coming. I mean, social media wise, we got the rest of our Keys trips coming out.
Just dropped one tonight.
Yeah, we just dropped a video tonight.
It was my favorite video from the Keys.
Yeah, my best fish of my life was caught on that video. We've got some redfish stuff coming up.
The drum.
She caught a big stud drum the other night. And the weather's only getting better and the days are only getting longer, so there's just more time to fish now. So
yeah. So we don't have any plans to travel other than visiting family, that type of thing, nothing too exciting. We're just going to focus on our area where we live, because that's where we love to fish.
And hopefully the pompano show up soon.
No.
Like lots of them, because they don't like me right now. So
Yeah,
I'm
Brent's
hoping for some pompano videos.
They'll be here soon. Real soon. It's about to get stupid.
Yeah,
That's
I
all.
think so too.
I always know March, cool. April,
That's on.
not even a little worried that I'm going to get the freezer stack. So you're going to be just fine.
Yep.
Well, you guys have been a ton of fun to talk with. Thank you so much for coming on the show, sharing your story, sharing your knowledge, and all the stuff you're doing with your social media and the growth and helping people out. It's outstanding. So thank you for all that you're doing. And I look forward to watching your journey continue. And I definitely look forward to getting out and fishing with you guys.
Absolutely. Thank you for having us. And we definitely got to make it happen. We got to get out on the surf here one of these days. We're pretty close to neighbors, I think, so we can make it happen anytime.
I think we are. Yes, it will happen.
Well, it was a blast talking to you. We always enjoy your knowledge you pass on. Brent's I check in and out, but Brent is a faithful listener of your channel.
And now the Friday nights, you sucked me into those hard.
Man.
Friday nights.
Every Friday night I'm there.
I don't get dates anymore. Period. He's always.
We get lots of dates.
Fishing
We
is
just
kind of
have
a date.
fishing rods in our hands.
Fishing in Publix. That's our dates. But it was a great time. Hope to see you soon out on the water.
Yep, for sure.
You definitely will. All right, you guys, we will talk soon. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I hope this episode is helpful for you. It was a lot of fun to record. I really enjoyed this. It was a lot of fun to talk with them. They did great stuff. Like I said, I wasn't kidding. Their social media stuff has been a lot of fun to follow, which is one of the biggest reasons you go to YouTube, entertaining and learning. So they're doing real good things. So go take a look at Real Coastal. You'll find them on all the social media. A lot of fun stuff to learn and go with from there. Hopefully this episode was fun for you. It was fun for me. We'll see you next week. You listen to Finding Demo Surf Fishing. I'm out of here.